So I'm going to start with 1/8 here, and I'm going to keep my intervals in eighths. So I'll do 1/8, then 2/8, 2/8, and 3/8. Now you may be noticing from the list of our data, if you look at February's measurement, it's 1/4. And you might think, well, wait a minute, where am I going to put that on that number line? Because I don't see any fourths. Well, remember, think about prior knowledge that you've learned about fractions in our last unit. You guys worked so hard with that. So think about equivalent fractions. If you remember that 4 and 8 are in the same fact family, you'll remember that we can convert easily 1/4 into eighths if we remember how to make equivalent fractions. So I'm looking over here at the February one, also at the March one. If we want to make that into eighths, we can think, how do I get from 4 to 8 times 2? Whatever I do with the denominators, I do to the numerators. 1/4 is the same as 1 times 2, 2/8. So that means this one would also be 2/8. And also March and June would also be equal to 2/8. So now we can very easily take a look at our information and put the X's in the appropriate spot, starting with 1/8 in January. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just check it off so I don't use it again, and I'll put an X here. And then February, we have 2/8. I'll check it off, put my X here. March is also 2/8. Check it off, put my X here. April was 5/8. Sammy grew 5/8 in 1 month. That's a lot. And 3/8 in May. So I'll put an X there. And then the final one is June, 2/8. So remember some of the questions you can ask. What's the smallest number in your data set? The largest number you can see very easily. 1/8, 5/8. Which fraction was the most commonly measured? 2/8 was measured 3 times. Okay, so we answered letter A, use the information in the table to make the line plot to show Sammy's growth. We did that. Now we're looking at B. How much did Sammy grow in 6 months? Well, we think 1 month he grew 1/8, then 2/8, then another 2/8, then 5/8. So think, if you want to find out a combined height that he grew from January to June, you would add those all up. Since we've already made our denominators the same, remember the rule with adding fractions, you just add the numerators and keep the denominator. So denominator is going to be 8, and we're adding up 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2, and that will equal 15/8. But think about it. If you went to the doctor and you got measured there and you said to the doctor, well, how much have I grown since I came last? The doctor probably wouldn't say 15/8. They would probably say it in a mixed number. So we know 15/8 is an improper fraction. If we wanted to make 15/8 into a mixed number, we would do 15 divided by 8. And I'm just going to do long division for this. 8 times what gets me close to 15? We can't do 2 because that would be 16. It would be too large. So 8 times 1 is 8. If we subtract 15 minus 8, it's 7. So we know that the remainder becomes the numerator. So really 15/8 is the same as 1 and 7. And our denominator is always our divisor, 8. So 1 and 7/8. So that would make more sense if you said to the doctor, how much have I grown since last time I was here in January, and pretend it's June? They'd say, you grew 1 and 7/8. That's quite a lot. That's close to what whole number? That is close to 2. So growing almost 2 inches in 6 months is a growth spurt. So this is good practice because it helps us to identify different data sets and numbers, largest and smallest, looking at what's most common. Also, we did a little practice with fractions today too, which is great. So now what I'd like you to do is we want you to practice on the next slide. There are some data plots. Try your best to insert a text box to do the labeling. And then there also is a Google form for you to answer just 4 questions so we can see what you remember from the lesson. But good luck, everybody. We're so proud of you working hard. Make sure if you have any questions, you can ask us through Google Classroom. Okay, good luck. Bye.